We often talk about calcitonin and parathyroid hormone together in concert with one another because they are direct antagonists of one another, meaning they have the opposite effects. Calcitonin is released from the thyroid gland, right? And it is released from the parafollicular cells of the thyroid gland. So, parafollicular cells. Okay, where parathyroid hormone, PTH, is released from the parathyroid gland. And the parathyroid gland are the small glands that sit on the lateral aspects of the thyroid gland there. Okay, so both of them are going to target bone tissue. All right, and they're going to target a very specific cell, which I'm going to draw here, and that cell is a pre-osteoblast. Okay, it is a pre-osteoblast, and bound to this pre-osteoblast is a molecule. And this molecule is known as rank L. Okay. So if we look at sort of this pathway, right? If we look down here, there's going to be another cell. We're going to draw a different cell down here. And this cell is going to be an osteoclast. So it's a clast, meaning it breaks down bone tissue, osteoclast precursor. Right? So this is like a stem cell. So it's not fully differentiated yet. Okay? And so on this cell, there is going to be a little receptor. And this receptor is known as rank. Okay? So you might be able to make a little bit of connection that this rank L, right, is going to bind to rank because rank L stands for the rank ligand. Okay? So if we look, let's start with our parathyroid gland. Okay? So we'll have PTH. Let's draw PTH in orange. So here we have PTH. PTH is going to come over and it's going to bind to that cell. Okay? When PTH binds to that pre-osteoblast, that rank L is going to dissociate and it is going to bind to that receptor. Okay? So rank L is going to bind to that receptor. Right? When rank L binds to that receptor, it causes this osteoclast precursor to differentiate into a mature osteoclast. Right? So when that happens, right, that osteoclast is going to break down bone, and when it breaks down that bone, it is going to free up that calcium and release it into the blood, the calcium that's stored in that bone. So PTH, or parathyroid hormone, is going to lead to increase in our blood calcium levels. Okay? So calcitonin, on the other hand, I realized that I spelled this wrong up here. We're going to add our IN up here. Right? Calcitonin also is going to bind to this exact same cell. Okay? And when calcitonin binds to this cell, what happens is it triggers the release of this molecule known as OPG, stands for osteoprotegerin. right? And so that osteoprotegrin is going to get released from that cell, and what we end up with is osteoprotegrin out here, right? And that rank L can bind to that osteoprotegrin, right? And so what happens is if this rank L is bound to osteoprotegrin, right, it cannot bind to rank, right? So the release of OPG, or osteoprotegrin, inhibits the differentiation of the osteoclast precursor into a mature osteoclast. So if we inhibit that process, right, we don't get as much breakdown of bone. So what's going to happen is our calcitonin is going to lead to a decrease in our blood calcium levels because it's going to stay stored in that bone. So these two hormones, calcitonin and parathyroid hormone, work in concert with one another to regulate your blood calcium levels, and they do so by serving as antagonists to one another. So parathyroid hormone is going to raise blood calcium levels, whereas calcitonin is going to lower blood calcium levels.